Hello friends, welcome back to our channel Can Go Kiwi IELTS and PTE. In this video, we will discuss the entire format, tips, and scoring criteria of Part 2 reading of PTE Core. This part of the test is approximately 30 minutes long and contains 5 different question types. 1. Reading and writing. Fill in the blanks 2. Multiple choice. Multiple answers 3. Reorder paragraph 4. Fill in the blanks 5. Multiple choice, single answer. Because PTE Core is an integrated skills test, 1 question type, reading and writing. Fill in the blanks also assesses writing skills. Now let us learn in detail about all the 5 different question types under the reading section of PTE Core. Task 1. Reading and writing. Fill in the blanks. In this task, you will see some text with several gaps. Choose the correct words from the drop-down boxes to fill in the gaps. Prompt length. Text up to 200 words. Skills assessed. Reading and writing. Time to answer. Not applicable. How to answer this question. For this question type, you need to select the most appropriate words from a drop-down list to complete the text. You will see some text with missing words. Complete the text by clicking on the button next to each gap and choosing the correct option from the list. You can change your answer by clicking on a different option. Test tips. Firstly, select the most appropriate words from a drop-down list to restore the text. There is a passage with some missing words. Beside each gap, there is a button with a drop-down list. Left-click on this button to reveal the drop-down list of response options for that gap. Choose the option you think best fills the gap. To change your mind, left-click on a different option. Secondly, skim for overall meaning to help you choose the correct word. If you understand the general meaning of the whole text, this will help you choose the correct word for each blank. For example, if you skim the passage given, you will find key ideas and words which point to a main topic of change. When you click on the drop-down arrows, you may find options that are also related to the main topic. You can then check grammar and overall meaning to see whether the words fit the blanks. Lastly, read before and after the blank to help you identify the correct word. The response options in the drop-down menus may look quite similar, but they will have different meanings and usage. You can look at the surrounding context to help you choose the appropriate word. In the example given on the screen, only access fits in the phrase gained to technologies. You need to pick words that match both the meaning, gain access, and grammar, access to. Reading either side of the blank will help you to narrow down the choices you have to make. Scan the text for the repeated words. Then read around them to find the answer more quickly.
How this question is scored. Your response is judged on your ability to use contextual and grammatical cues to identify words that complete a reading text. If you fill all the blanks correctly, you will receive the maximum score points for this question type. If you fill one or more blanks incorrectly, partial credit scoring applies. Please note, this question type affects the scoring of reading and writing. Your listening and speaking skills are not tested by this question type. Now let's learn about the test format, tips, and scoring criteria of Task 2 of the reading section of PTE Core, that is multiple choice, multiple answers. Task 2. Multiple choice, multiple answers. Prompt length, text up to 275 words. Skills assessed, reading. Time to answer, not applicable. How to answer this question. For this question type, you need to read the passage and answer the multiple choice question. There is more than one correct response. You need to select all the response options that you think are correct from the list of possible options. Click on an option to select it. You can deselect it by clicking on it again. The options you select are highlighted in yellow. Test tips. Firstly, make sure you know how the task is scored. Read the instructions carefully and remember that more than one response option is correct. You will score points for any correct options, but you will lose points for any incorrect options. These include options that you have clicked on as correct but which are wrong. If you click on all the options because you do not know the answer, you will lose score points. Secondly, note any repeated words in the options. Quickly read through the response options and note any words that are repeated, particularly adjectives, e.g., multigrade, or nouns, e.g., classes. If the same noun phrase occurs in a lot of the options, the answer is probably related to this phrase. Scan the text for the repeated words. Then read around them to find the answer more quickly. How this question is scored. Your response is judged on your ability to analyze, interpret, and evaluate a short reading text on an academic subject. If all your responses are correct, you will receive the maximum score points. If one or more response options are incorrect, partial credit scoring applies. Each correct option is given 1 point, but 1 point is deducted for each wrong option, so make sure you are confident in your choices. Please note, this question type affects the scoring of reading. Your listening, speaking, and writing skills are not tested by this question type. Now let's learn about the test format, tips, and scoring criteria of Task 3 of the reading section of PTE Core, that is Reorder Paragraph. Prompt length, text up to 110 words. Skills assessed, reading. Time to answer, not applicable. How to answer this question? For this question type, you need to restore the original order of the text by selecting text boxes and moving them across the screen. There are 2 ways you can move the text. 1, click and drag the box to where you want to place it. 2, click on a box and then use the arrow buttons to move it. You can also use the up and down arrows to reorder the boxes. To deselect a box, click elsewhere on the screen. Test tips. Firstly, read all the text boxes quickly before you start reordering them. Read the text boxes in order to understand the main idea of each one. You can do this by noting the keywords. Next, use the keywords to form an overall idea of what the original text is about. This will help you find the logical order for the ideas in the text boxes. Finally, find the topic sentence first. Every well-written paragraph has a topic sentence. It is usually a clear statement about the topic, and all the other sentences are related in some way to this sentence. The topic sentence can stand alone. It does not begin with a linker or a pronoun that refers back to something or someone, e.g., he or this. Nor does it refer back to information or actions previously mentioned through the use of things like passive verb tenses, e.g., no link was found. How this question is scored. Your response is judged on your ability to understand the organization and cohesion of an academic text. If all text boxes are in the correct order, you will receive the maximum score points. If one or more text boxes are in the wrong order, partial credit scoring applies. Please note, this question type affects the scoring of only reading. Your listening, speaking, and writing skills are not tested by this question type. Now, let's learn about the test format, tips, and scoring criteria of Task 4 of the reading section of PTE Core, that is fill in the blanks. Task 4. Fill in the blanks. Prompt length, text up to 80 words. Skills assessed, reading. Time to answer, not applicable. How to answer this question? For this question type, you need to drag and drop words across the screen to correctly fill in the gaps in the text. There is a passage with some missing words. You have a list of words in the blue box that you can use to fill the gaps in the text. There are more words than gaps, so you will not use all the words provided. Click and drag a word to each gap. If you need to change it, you can drag the word to a different gap or back to the blue box. Test tips. Firstly, think about words that you often see or hear together. Remember that some words often go together to form a familiar phrase. This is called collocation. Using collocation can help you recognize the correct word for each blank. For example, the phrase "the general public" is a common collocation, so you can quickly see that "public" might be a good choice for the first blank in the sentence below. Finally, use your knowledge of grammar to help you select the correct word. Read around the blank in the text and decide what part of speech the missing word is. In the example below, beginning to tells you that an infinitive verb form is missing to plus verb. Next, look at the response options and rule out any words that are not the correct part of speech, e.g., world is a noun and formal is an adjective. Also, rule out any verbs that are not in the infinitive form. Finally, choose the word that has the correct meaning from the words that are left. View and look means see, but we quote or cite references so you can see that only cite fits the blank.
How this question is scored. Your response is judged on your ability to use context and grammatical cues to identify words that complete a reading text. If you fill all the blanks correctly, you will receive the maximum score points. If you fill one or more blanks incorrectly, partial credit scoring applies. Please note, this question type affects the scoring of only reading. Your listening, speaking, and writing skills are not tested by this question type. Now let's learn about the test format, tips, and scoring criteria of Task 5 of the reading section of PTE Core. That is multiple choice, single answer. Task 5, multiple choice, single answer. Prompt length, text up to 110 words. Skills assessed, reading. Time to answer, not applicable. How to answer this question? For this question type, you need to read the passage and answer the multiple choice question. There are several possible response options, but only one is correct. Click on an option to select it. You can change your mind by clicking on it again, or by clicking on a different option. The option you select is highlighted in yellow. Test tips. Firstly, note the key words in the prompt before you read the text. The prompt may be a question or a sentence that you have to complete. Whatever type of prompt you get, make sure you read it carefully because it will tell you what information you need to find in the text. If you focus on the key words in the prompt, you will find the answer more quickly and need to spend less time reading the text. Finally, evaluate the response options. The response options may be words, phrases, or sentences. Use your own knowledge to decide whether any of them are unlikely to be correct or likely to be correct. You can do this before you read the text. If you read the text but cannot answer the question, choose the option that you think is most likely to be correct. This strategy also applies to multiple choice questions with more than one answer. How this question is scored. Your response is judged on your ability to analyze, interpret, and evaluate a short reading text on an academic subject. Your response is scored as either correct or incorrect. No credit is given for no response or an incorrect response. Please note, this question type affects the scoring of only reading. Your listening, speaking, and writing skills are not tested by this question type.